Welcome to class. Let's get started. I'm Tanya Davis, and I will be with you every step of the way. Again, welcome. Let's go through building the proper fundamentals and foundation for eyebrow extensions. So in this next part of our class, we want to talk about the building part, the architecture with eyebrow extensions, and so that you have a firm footing, a firm understanding of how eyebrow extensions works. So if you will follow along with me, typically in our one-on-one classes or class environment, that's what we do. We basically determine, what the class, the students' expectations are. Then from there, we just go through the basic nuts and bolts of whatever the service might be so that the student feels completely comfortable in understanding the process, the procedures, the steps, the troubleshooting, issues that you might face so that you feel adequately prepared to deliver this service. So we're going to walk you through that as if you were here with us. So again, glad you're joining us. So let's flip over to our training materials. And then if you will, follow along with me, take good notes. There's such a wealth of information in our training manual. So I'm sure that you will be delighted and just well versed at the end of this class. So let's go ahead and flip to the beginning of this manual and we will get started. So if you have paper, if you have pencil, highlighter, whatever you would like, please go ahead and grab that now. Okay, so here is our training manual. Let's just talk a bit about eyebrow extensions. Again, welcome to our class. It is our goal to present this material in clear, concise, in a clear, concise format. It's truly, we try to create a great learning environment in which the student feels that, hey, I walked away with great information. I walked away feeling a bit more empowered about this new service, knowing that I can do it if I put in the time and the practice. So we're committed to your knowledge and your understanding and building your confidence. With every class that I have, we take significant time in the class to talk about your why you want to learn this right now, why you want to take this class. I think it's important to take the time to really think about it. Ascertain what your real reasons or your real motives are so that you can refer back to that, especially maybe when times get a little tough. Maybe it's tough with practice or things are going on in your salon or your spa and you're trying to achieve this new skill and it might be difficult. But if you can refer back to why I even started this in the first place, there's a power in it bringing you back and helping to recenter you so that you can focus, so that you can persevere and push through. So I challenge you on this exercise to write down your why you want to learn about this, what you plan to do with it, when you would like to be able to offer this service. Write specifics, write dates, write your goals, and so that you can refer back to them. And I tell you this, if you will just do that and practice and commit this time, you will look back on this why that you wrote down and see that you were able to achieve that goal. Our learning objectives today, of course, we're going to talk about safety and sanitation. That's so important. And especially now in the midst of the pandemic and so much is going on, we have to make sure that we understand and we stick to those practices with every customer, every client, every day. Be consistent. We're going to talk about the tools and equipment. We're going to talk about application methods, creating natural looking eyebrows, talk about face shapes, the techniques involved with eyebrow extensions, procedures and practices, as well as for the technician, your posture, your positioning, how to handle fill-ins. What about client care, aftercare? Then we'll talk a bit about marketing as well. And there is a quiz at the end if you would like that to just test your knowledge. In terms of some of our other trainings that we offer, we have a brow master class, and we go into everything with that class where you could truly feel like a brow master. So, in this particular class, we're going to talk about waxing, threading, tweezing, tinting, eyebrow extensions, everything you can think of so that you can create great brows for your clients and offer multiple brow solutions. We also teach tinting, the art of tinting. Of course, you're in the Art of Eyebrow Extensions virtual class here. We also have microblading classes as well as eyelash extensions, as well, the keratin lash lift and brow lamination. So really anything you want to learn, reach out to us. We'll be able to assist you. We can also customize training. So if you want to deliver training to your salon team or spa, or you're just interested yourself, we can customize training that would best suit you. Now, let's delve into frequently asked questions in terms of eyebrow extensions, because there are still quite a few people that don't know what eyebrow extensions are. So, when we're talking about eyebrow extensions, they are single strands of synthetic extensions that replicate the natural eyebrow. They can be applied to, the brow hair. They can be applied directly to the skin. They can be designed to be very natural or even very dramatic looking. You have the flexibility to design as you wish. And in terms of how long do eyebrow extensions last? Typically, they last up to 10 to 14 days. There is a special waterproof adhesive that you will use with eyebrow extensions. Like I said, that allows you to apply to the skin as well as to the eyebrows. It is important to use quality adhesive. Use a reputable company. Just using inferior products or where the glue doesn't work as well, you don't want to do that. So you want to be very careful to choose really good companies with quality products. Should I get eyebrow fill-ins, extension fill-ins? And if your client would like to maintain their look beyond the 10 to 14 days, it is advised that they get fill-ins. And they could schedule those, every 7 to 10 days. Each person is different. If you have a client that has drier skin, sometimes they can go a bit longer. But if the client has oilier skin, a lot of times they need to come in more frequently because their extensions may loosen up a bit quicker. Can I apply makeup to my eyebrow extensions? And I don't advise that you do, only because I don't want clients to disturb the brow extensions by, penciling in or adding makeup. But if they just have to have some makeup on those eyebrows, then a brow powder would be better. It's lighter and it's not oily. So that would be something that they could use and lightly tap some onto the eyebrows, but preferably no makeup. Who are ideal candidates for eyebrow extensions? Clients with overplucked brows, overwaxed brows, clients with thin or sparse brows, those suffering from alopecia or autoimmune disorders that have affected their brow hair, even clients who just want more brow volume. And this service is perfect for men or women, various ages. It really appeals to a lot of people. Do you recommend using various lengths of eyebrow extensions? And the nice thing now is with eyebrow extensions, you can get them in a variety of lengths. It is recommended to use different lengths and try to find lengths that kind of match the client's natural brow hair, so that looks the most natural. So you will need to use different lengths in order to do so. What colors can be found in eyebrow extensions? Gosh, now there's so many different colors, brown to different shades of brown, light, medium, dark, to black, blonde, and rainbow colors, red, blue, yellow, orange, green. So many options at this point. Some common reasons for hair loss, why people, may need the eyebrow extensions. Of course, there may be some skin disorders, alopecia, and then there are autoimmune diseases as well, or if people are experiencing different types of infections, and that may also cause hair loss. In order to do eyebrow extensions, of course, there are certain things that you want to have in your toolkit. So we'll talk about that in this section. But before we get into that, let's talk a bit about sanitation and best practices, and just how to make sure we're delivering a really good service. So basically, you want to, of course, make sure that customer is a great candidate. Observe their skin. Make sure there are no contraindications. Make sure that there's no bruises in the skin. There's no cuts or abrasions or irritation. If you see visible types of infections or things like that in the eye area, you will not be able to deliver the eyebrow extension service. So another thing that is important as well is being careful working around a client's eyes. So we just want to make sure that we are being safe, that we don't drop the tweezers, in their eye area, that we're not putting too much pressure on their face when we're applying these. So we want to be very, very careful. If an accident does occur in terms of solution being leaked into the eyes, you want to make sure that you flush that area with saline immediately, and that refer the client to see their physician quickly. The other thing is, in terms of the adhesive, you want to be careful not to overuse it. We want to make sure that as we are working in with the client's eyebrows, that we're balancing our hands on their face for stability, not floating our hands in the air. Use their cheeks, resting the hands on the cheeks in order to do that. And that will help stabilize your hands. Never press the tweezers against the skin. Only work with the tweezers in a parallel motion in order to keep that client safe. And I always say this, when you're working with services like this that can be a bit more tedious, if your eyes are feeling tired, take a break, look around, rest your eyes for a bit and come back to it. In terms of hygiene, that's important as well. We want to make sure cleanliness is so important in everything that we do. We want to make sure that the client gets a real sense of that when they come into our salons or our spas, that safety, hygiene, sanitation, all those things are a priority for us. Okay. So in this particular section, of course, with this, never reinsert brushes into bottles. You can contaminate your solutions. Make sure tweezers and tools are clean and sanitized and you're following the guidelines of your state board. Make sure you're washing your hands multiple times if needed. Make sure the client hears you wash your hands with soap and hot water, and making sure use your latex-free gloves, powder-free. Use those gloves. And I recommend wearing a mask, and give a mask to the client as well to wear for this service. Let's talk about brow theory. Let's do that. So in this particular area, definitely we want to create the best eyebrows for the client. And in terms of theory is an idea or set of ideas that is intended to explain facts or events. So we're going to talk about the theory in terms of the steps, the ideas that you have to, consider when creating beautiful eyebrows with extensions. So some of the basic things I like to consider is always observe the client's natural eyebrow. Make sure you consider their preferences. What do they like? Do they like more natural looking eyebrows, or they like a little drama? Is it for an evening event, or are they, a professional sitting in board meetings all day and they want something a bit more conservative? Or if you're like in the area I'm in, there's a huge acting industry, moving industry, and maybe they need something that's a bit more artistic or whatever. So with eyebrow extensions, it gives you the flexibility to deliver. The other thing you want to always do is map the client's eyebrows. Where are the angles? Where should I start the brow? Where's the arch? Where's the end place? How wide do I want the brows to be? What shape? Do I want something a little more angular, or do I want more of a softer brow or a wispy brow? What am I going for? But the big idea here to always consider: create natural looking, well-balanced brows that flatter the client's facial features. Open, lift, brighten the eyes by creating a beautiful frame. That's the whole purpose. Knowing the angles, again, is so important, from the starting point to the arch to the tail to, if the person has partial eyebrows or no eyebrows at all, what do their angles need to be in order to create a beautiful frame? So here are just some examples right here where you're looking at the starting point, you're looking at the arch and the tail, and you can just see that basically by filling in those areas, how it really makes a huge difference. I mean, it's still soft, it's still natural, but it's just a beautiful frame that has a lot more definition, appears to be fuller in its volume, and it's just one that really instantly gives the person just a more youthful, open look to their face. And of course, you want to consider facial shapes as well. So in this example, this is a person with a square face. So with brows, this is my philosophy in particular, but I feel like balanced art's supposed to balance the face. Okay. And in order to balance the face, you have to think contrast. The word is contrast. You have to think about that. Contrast can create balance in your facial features. So for example, if a client has a face that is more square or more angular, you want to create eyebrows that are a bit softer in appearance or more curved. Okay. So you don't want someone that maybe they have a sharp jawline, cheek line, chin and jawline. They just have a sharper facial structure. So I'm not going to give them a super sharp angular eyebrow. I'm going to soften it. So given that their facial structure is more, has those strong lines, I'm going to take the brows and I'm going to soften those lines in order to create balance on the face. Because think about it, if you've got sharp cheekbones and sharp jawline and chin line, and maybe your nose is the same, and then I give you a strong linear eyebrow, then there's no contrast. So it doesn't break up all of the just the lines on the face. So by bringing those curves in or just a softer brow, it's going to create a better appearance. Oval shaped faces, of course, are those that are very easy to work with. And typically you would do just about anything with those eyebrows. If you want to go a bit angular, you want to keep them curved or soft or wispy, you can really do a lot of things. I would say, look at the client's natural eyebrow for clues, as to what works for them and what does not work and how you can improve it. There are some other facial shapes to consider as well, like diamond, heart, all of those. So you just want to make sure that you are considering those particular shapes and contrasts. And now we're back. With the eyebrow extension application techniques, there are a variety of techniques to consider. One is with eyebrow extensions, you can bond to existing brow hairs. You can also apply directly to the skin. You can also do the HD effect, in which you are adding a brow tint to the brow extensions. There are so many possibilities. There are so many choices. So if you look below here, it is true. Eyebrow extensions can be bonded directly to existing eyebrow hairs using special adhesive for eyebrow extensions. It is also true that eyebrow extensions can be applied directly to the skin without irritation using the special adhesive for eyebrow extensions only. You must use the proper adhesive. So in terms of the technique with bonding the extensions to the existing hair, you want to identify the eyebrow hair in which you want to create some length. And then you're just going to take that tweezer, isolate that eyebrow hair, hold it in place. You're going to dip the extension and then basically just bond it to that natural hair. Here you can see some different strokes in terms of how we can lay the extensions on a little more vertical at the upper part of the brow, leaning downward by the end. And then if you decide you would like to add the tint to the eyebrow, here are some steps that you can take in order to do that. I prefer the Reflectasil cream tint. So you can mix your tint, let it oxidize basically, and then from there, apply the tint first and then add the eyebrow extensions. In order to prepare for the eyebrow extension service, you want to consider the how you prepare to want to be positioned, whether you're using a facial bed, a massage table, or an all-purpose chair. You want to make sure as a technician that your body is comfortable, that your hands, your wrists, your feet are firmly planted on the floor, nice and balanced and relaxed. You also want to make sure that with this service, you just determine, are you going to sit behind the client and apply the extensions or stand up? Either way is fine. That's the nice thing about eyebrow extensions. There is so much flexibility in terms of how you actually apply the service. You can stand, you can sit down, you could have the client sit in a makeup chair. So it just makes it a much easier service to deliver. In terms of the process step by step with the adhesive, it is very important that you shake it extremely well. Make sure that it is well incorporated so that it will, bond to the extension really well and then stick to the skin or to the hair. That's very, very important. We're going to drop a small bit of the glue into our ring cup, and we will from there, dip the extensions into our ring cup, get enough glue, and then apply directly to the skin. Now, when it comes to coating the extension with the adhesive, we want to make sure that we only dip about a third of that eyebrow extension into the adhesive. We don't want to oversaturate the extension. We don't want unsightly glue spots in the brow. So just make sure not to overdo it. In this particular picture here, you can see we were able to identify where there were gaps in the eyebrow. So we wanted to fill in those areas. And that gave us a focus for the service, filling those in, making sure that we're applying them in the right direction. Now, in terms of completing the service, we're going to, after we fill in those eyebrow extensions, we, created the look that we wanted. We're going to stand in front of the client and just observe our work. We're going to look for balance. We're going to look and make sure that, from the right brow to the left brow, that they're starting in the same place. The starting point is good, that the tail end of the brow is good. Do I need to add more extensions? And at that point, if I do, then go ahead and add those extensions back in. But if I'm good, then the service is complete. So I'm going to just make sure that it's nice and clean. There's no pencil markings left on the eyebrows. I'm going to make sure there's no hairs that are just, that are still on the skin that need to be brushed away. The service is complete. From there, I'm going to make sure the client likes their eyebrows, and then we just re-inform them of the post-care instructions so they know how to maintain their brow extensions. Throughout all of this, we want to just make sure that they understand that when they go home, they want to make sure they never immerse their eyebrows directly into water. So in the shower, don't put those eyebrows directly in the water. You can loosen up the adhesive, and that they use a cloth to clean around the brow area. They need to avoid rubbing or picking at their eyebrows. Use oil-free products on their skin, especially around the eyebrows, and be careful not to overdo it with saunas and steam rooms. That can loosen the extensions too. And then if they are going to do fill-ins, to schedule their extension fill-in with you before they leave. So it's important to do those things. So once we've done all of that, we can move on to the cleanup procedure. We're going to sanitize our tools and equipment. I typically will take alcohol and clean off any glue from my tweezers, make sure that's all good, and then let it sit in barbicide solution to adequately be sanitized. So I would say there, just check your state board regulations in terms of what is required. And then from there, I'm going to put away all of my supplies. With the adhesive, it needs to be stored upright. Make sure the lid is on tight, and it should be stored in a cool, dry place. Then with the extensions, I'm just going to put those back in the trays and organize all of my other supplies so that it makes it easier for me to prepare for the next client. In terms of removal, we, as the eyebrow extension, there is a product, there is the eyebrow extension adhesive remover. And typically I will use that to just loosen up the extensions, especially if they're a little harder to loosen. So you just want to be careful to gently, put that on there, let it loosen. After those extensions are loosened and you're able to wipe those away, you do want to cleanse that eyebrow area. Make sure there's no remover remaining because that can irritate the client's skin. So be very careful with that. I would also say if you have a client that may be hypersensitive, sometimes that gel remover may be a bit too strong. So another alternative method you could consider is using like a heavy oil, like a coconut oil or baby oil, something like that. Put that on the client's eyebrow extensions and then steam the eyebrows to loosen it up and gently remove the extensions. Never tug the extensions or that will damage the client's natural eyebrow hairs and their natural eyebrows, would get thinner. So with all of that, these are things to just remind the client of in terms of post care. And then of course, to just, make sure they understand that these will fall off, they will loosen, they look beautiful, but they will loosen up. So when that happens, they will be prepared. In terms of marketing tips and strategies, people love befores and afters. People love package deals. So if you already have a salon or you're getting one started, you can always put together a brow package for your clients. Get your brows waxed or tweezed, and then get some extensions. Or if someone's getting married or special occasion, or turning 50, turning 40, and they just want to look amazing, then this will be a great service. Someone that needs headshots, this is a great service. Looks very natural, but helps them create a beautiful frame. And of course, advertise through social media, through referrals, through word of mouth, through your pictures. Word will spread. And when people see the difference or the impact that extensions make, you will not have a problem with building your clientele. So that gives you a basic foundation of just what are eyebrow extensions all about. And there's so many things that we are learning about eyebrow extensions, and there's so much more. So at this particular point, I just want to show a video of one of my services so that you can actually see what the service looks like, how long it can take, and then just what the steps might be. So I'm gonna let you take a look, and then from start to finish, this is what a real eyebrow extension service looks like. We are so excited to share the opportunity to watch an actual eyebrow extension service. As you can see here, we have a beautiful model that already has nice eyebrows. However, we want to make sure that she has an opportunity to attain the most beautiful brows that she can have. So she has chosen eyebrow extensions as a way to enhance her natural eyebrows. In terms of her being able to qualify for the service, she's good. Her skin looks great. She does not have any rashes, no issues that would block the ability to get eyebrow extensions. She has normal looking skin. She just has some thin areas in her eyebrow that she wishes she had more definition and more fullness. So eyebrow extensions will give her the ability to do that. So as you can see here, we are cleansing the eyebrows. We want to make sure that there's no makeup, oils, or any other type of things that could block the ability for the adhesive to properly adhere to the eyebrow extensions. So with this step, we are making sure that we remove it. We're using a gentle facial cleanser. You can use that. Anything that's mild or for gentle skin to just clear away, like I said, any makeup, anything that the client may have on their skin, sweat or oil. So we just want to make sure that we prepare for a good service. So it's important not to skip this step. Make sure that we have a good foundation to work with. So we've cleansed it with the facial cleanser, made sure that the brows are nice and clean. Now we're just taking water and removing any of that facial cleanser that may remain. After we do that, we're going to just make sure that the eyebrows are dry and looking good and ready to go for the eyebrow extensions. Prep is very, very important. with many beauty services, how we start really has an impact on the success of the service. So we're taking our time here, just making sure we prep the brows properly so that we can have some beautiful eyebrows at the end of this service. So as you can see, the brows are looking wonderful. And then we're going to just brush the brows up a bit. Just take a look at them, see what we have to work with. We'll also just see, are there any longer hairs that we can go ahead and just clip, and just trim from there. And then that way we know exactly what areas we need to prioritize in filling in the eyebrow extensions. So as you can see, we brush those brows upward, and we are going to just clip some of the longer hairs there that are longer than we desire them to be, because we want to try to create a very neat, well sculpted eyebrow. So we'll take our time with that. We're on the right eyebrow. We're just going to go in here and clip a bit. Now, the other thing is with this, of course, at the beginning of the service, we are going to just take the time to shape these brows a bit. And at the end of the service, we may need to shape them a bit more. So we will go through at that particular time at the end and assess if more sculpting is needed. These brows are looking great, cleaning them up nicely. And again, prep is important. Clean eyebrow, properly cleansed brows, and brows that are well shaped are very important. This also gives us an opportunity to visually just assess the skin, assess again the areas that maybe there are gaps, maybe there's sparse places in the eyebrow, so that we can figure out how do we want to shape this brow. This particular client, we're going to go with a stronger looking eyebrow. We are going to keep it soft. We are going to do a medium type arch for the eyebrows, just following the flow of the eyebrows. Again, when we're doing eyebrow extensions that the client wants a natural look, it's always good to follow the natural pattern of the eyebrow. If they want something more dramatic, of course, we can make them a little fuller, make them darker. There are ways to achieve that as well. But for many of the beauty services, to just enhance and go with the natural flow of the eyebrow is going to look way more natural. So that's the look that our client wants. So we're gonna achieve that look today. So now we're just razoring the eyebrows, cleansing, clearing any of those excess hairs that we do not need that are outside of the outline of our eyebrow. It is recommended that you razor or tweeze the eyebrow. You can even thread the eyebrow. And I really do not recommend that the client's brows be waxed, only because for some people that can irritate the skin. And then they can get really red and irritated. So you've got these beautiful filled in brows with the eyebrow extension, but then the skin is irritated. So not a good look at the end of the service. So we want to just do just a gentle, mild cleanup, because we really want to keep as many hairs as possible, especially if the person, already has really thin eyebrows. We don't want to remove too much. We just want to sculpt them, just want to clean them, give them a nice shape for their eyebrow. And like I said, you can see here with this client, she's got nice eyebrows. We just want to do a medium arch here and just clean those hairs. So in this particular spot, we are just razoring the eyebrows, just going in. You could use one of these tools that has like the handle with the razor. Further on in the video, you will see where we use a straight razor as well. So sometimes that can get a sharper look as well, if that's what you're looking for. So that is a good way, some good ways that you could clean these eyebrows. So here's a straight razor right here. Perfect. What you're going to do, of course, whenever you use a straight razor, is make sure that you hold the skin nice and taut, and then put a little bit of oil or emollient on the skin, just to make sure that razor will glide on the skin, because we don't want to cut the client at all. So we have to be very, very careful with this. So definitely with the straight razor, it's a very sharp, clean eyebrow, which you can see right here in this clip. As she continues to clean up this eyebrow, you can just see they're going to get sharper and sharper. And once we have finished this particular step in the process, then we can begin filling in the eyebrows. It's important to just be thorough with each and every step of the eyebrow extensions, and it will truly show at the end of the service. Now, at this part of the particular service, we're going to continue to clean up the eyebrow, make sure that any hairs that are outside of the outline have been cleaned up. It's good to really just take your time during this particular step to just make sure that you are creating the particular shape that you really, really want. So as you can see here, we're taking our time, cleaning up the eyebrows. Whenever you're working with a straight razor, make sure to stretch the skin. Make sure the skin is nice and taut. As you are cleaning up those eyebrows, make sure to brush the brows into place so you know exactly what hairs to get rid of. So it's very important to take your time here. So with each brow, we're going to be very meticulous in cleaning up the eyebrow. It is suggested that it's, again, to razor to clean up those stray hairs or to tweeze the eyebrow. If you use wax, we just recommend very, very low heat and to make sure that the client is a good candidate for that particular service. So in terms of just being conservative, I think it's always best to just tweeze or use a razor to clean up the eyebrow. Now you can see the adhesive as we get ready to apply the eyebrow extensions. So we're dropping a few drops of that glue into the ring cup. And also on my hand, you will see the actual eyebrow extensions, and I am using black and brown. I'm going to mix that in the client's eyebrow to create a beautiful shape. And again, all of these items are on my hand. I like to use the ring cup. I like to use the eyebrow extensions and just either tape them onto my hand or just use the back of them. And then, of course, I have the tweezer in my right hand that I will use to apply the eyebrow extensions. So now what we're going to do is just basically pick up the eyebrow extension from my hand. You will pick it up at a 1 o'clock degree angle. So not at the very, very tip of the eyebrow extension, but just off to at a 1 o'clock degree angle, so that you do not crimp the end of it. Then just pick it up, dip it in the glue, and then stretch the skin and lay it in place. As you can see, there's some areas at the front of this eyebrow that are just a little light and thin. So we just want to darken the area, fill it in, give it a little more volume and definition. So as you can see, I'm stretching the skin and then taking my right hand, picking up the extension, and then laying it into place. Basically, with this step, you'll just continue to do that. Keep building the area. I like to start at the front of the brow. However, there's no right or wrong way. If you feel more comfortable starting at the end, filling in the eyebrow, that's perfectly fine, as long as you're able to create a beautiful, natural looking eyebrow. So as you can see, I just continue to keep picking up the extensions until I'm able to get it to the fullness that I desire. And just take your time. And as you'll see, as you continue to fill in, the area starts to get darker and darker and fuller looking and more well-defined. So it's very important to just take your time. Now, with the eyebrow extensions, again, when you are picking it up, pick it up at a 1 o'clock degree angle and then dip it into your glue and then just lay it right into those thin spots into the eyebrow. And a lot of times you can just lay it right onto the skin where you see holes and gaps. Sometimes the clients may have thin areas in the eyebrow due to alopecia, maybe due to things, health conditions, autoimmune disorders, things like that, where the eyebrows get really, really thin or become non-existent. So we're going to keep filling in, and we'll continue to watch as the brow takes form. We're still working in the front of the eyebrow, as you can see here.
and just mixing the two. The wonderful thing about eyebrow extensions is it truly is artistic in a sense that you can really design the eyebrow the way you want. You could easily just use one color if you wanted to. You could use the black on her, looking at the color of her hair, which is very dark, and her eyebrows are dark, so the black would blend in well. And or you could even use a brown and say she wanted to lighten up her eyebrows just a bit. Sometimes for people who have really dark hair, they like to lighten the brows just a little bit to give a softer look. So that could be an approach you could take. And or you could take this option that we are using here, which is mixing the black and the brown extensions to give the right effect that we're looking for. Just a little darker. We didn't want them too dramatic, so we just wanted to enhance the natural beauty. So, in my opinion, the brown and the black goes well together. And I love to mix extensions, just like hair color is very popular and people have highlights and lowlights and all of these things. The eyebrows are a great place to just create highlights in the eyebrow. So as you can see here, the brown and the black looks really natural on her. And as we continue to fill in, the brows are getting darker and darker and lovely. So we're going to love the end result as we keep building. So we'll just keep looking here. As you can see, kind of the steps in the process. We are just continuing to build, stretch the skin, and then make sure to lay the extensions in the pattern of the client's natural eyebrow. As you can see, her eyebrows stand up, are pretty straight up in the front of the eyebrow. So we're going to lay them in the same pattern. And then as we could start to move throughout the eyebrow, we'll start to basically lean the extensions in the direction that the hair grows. So you want it to follow that natural flow. That's very, very important. One thing that's important to note here is as we're working in the front of the eyebrow, that we make sure that we're starting at a good space. Here I'm showing you how the extension, how I'm picking it up. If you can see right here, I'm picking it up at a 1 o'clock degree angle, as we mentioned before, not at the very, very top, because we don't want to crimp the end of that extension. So this will take practice, but it is very simple. Just remember to pick it up, like I said, at the 1 o'clock degree angle, and you will be all set, and the extension will stay nice and flat, which mimics natural eyebrow hair. So as you can see, just continue to dip into the glue. And just want you to be able to see, when you're doing so, there's just a little bulb of glue there at the end. If you see a lot of glue on that extension, you want to just dab off the excess on, the ring cup is fine that you have on your hand. Just basically dab a little bit of that off. You just want to see like a small little bulb of glue at the very end of the extension before you lay it onto the eyebrow. So we're going to continue here to just build. And as you can see, we're starting to build that lower outline of the eyebrow. When we're finished, it'll be hard to tell where the extensions begin and where the natural eyebrow hairs are because it looks so natural. As you can see, we're moving down a little bit more into the eyebrow, right in that arch point. You can see there's some light spots right in there. So we're just filling in where we see really light areas in the eyebrow so that it looks nice and full. And we're going to continue to move down to the end. Okay. And keep going. All right. And we'll continue to build through the tail of the eyebrow. As you can see, we are following the natural pattern of her eyebrow hair. As you see right here on the end, the hair is going downward. It's going downward into the very end point of the eyebrow. So we are going to basically keep in the same pattern, in the same direction of the eyebrow, so it looks super, super natural, and you don't see basically any issues with the eyebrow. The whole purpose of eyebrow extensions is to make sure the end result looks very, very natural. So it's always important to observe the direction of the extensions and to make sure that they are smoothly applied. So as you can see, when we apply the extensions, a lot of times I'll just tap them just a little bit, and that's just basically just securing them onto the skin in place, just making sure they're secure. And if for some reason there's not enough glue on the extension before it dries, just pick it up and reapply the extension. It's way okay. It takes a few seconds for it to really dry, so you have time to just pick up the extension and reapply another one or the same one. So it's okay. Let's keep building. The other wonderful thing about eyebrow extensions, as you can see with our client here, it is a service where the client can truly relax. They can close their eyes, listen to their music, just relax. So it's definitely important to make sure the customer is comfortable. So make sure the temperature is good. Make sure you have a blanket or a bolster for under their knees if they need it. Just make sure they're good and comfortable. As we continue to build, they are looking more and more beautiful and fuller. And as you can see, they truly blend in so well. The extensions truly mimic natural eyebrow hair in terms of the diameter, in terms of the colors that you can get, that you can order. The most common colors are going to be your black, your browns, your shades of brown, like medium, dark brown, light brown. Those are going to be your more popular colors. You can also find other colors like blonde, purple, blue, green, all kinds of colors now with eyebrow extensions. You can really get creative if you want to. But in terms of your most popular colors, I would say always keep the black and shades of brown available in your kit. Those are going to be primarily the colors you will use. Okay, now I'm going in and just continuing to fill in on the eyebrow, on that top outline right there. She has a scar right there. And the eyebrow extensions are a perfect beauty solution to cover scars. So we're going to cover that scar up a little bit so that we can create a stronger line in the eyebrow. I'm going to continue to just stretch the eyebrow, the skin, and just open the brow hairs up a bit, and then glide those eyebrow extensions in between the hairs there. You can really keep adding as many as you want. It's really up to your discretion and your personal style for the client. I tend to try to keep the brow extensions very natural looking, where it just looks like it could truly be their own eyebrow, just fuller and a little sharper. So now I'm just going in and continuing to fill in some different spaces there. And as you can see, there's the black and the brown. And this is I'm using the 7 millimeter on this particular client. They come in different lengths, and a lot of times what I'll do is just match the extension close to what mimics their natural brow hair. and would blend in well with it. So as you can see, that is a pretty good length that matches the client's natural hair. So the wonderful thing about extensions, because you're only gluing like the base of the extension. So if the extension is a little too long when you finish, you can always take your brow scissors and just trim the brow hair, which and give it a sharper look if you need to. So it's very forgiving. It's customized. You can really customize the look. And at the end, you can continue to shape by being able to scissor the brow. If you want to create a very sharp edge, you can scissor it to be very blunt. So truly up to your particular brow style. The extensions are perfect, as we mentioned before, for covering up scars or thin spots or places in the brow that just will not grow. The adhesive is perfect for those who have sensitive skin. That this particular adhesive, you want to make sure with eyebrow extensions, you always use eyebrow extension adhesive. Never use lash adhesive. That's very important. Lash adhesive can only be applied to actual lash extensions and applied directly to a natural hair. Lash adhesive cannot go on the skin. It will burn the skin. So with eyebrow extensions, you have to use formulated eyebrow extension glue so that it will adhere properly to the extensions and not harm the client's skin and not cause irritation. So be very, very careful to use the appropriate glue for extensions. This right eyebrow is shaping up very quickly here. It's looking really good. We're just taking our time, just for demonstration purposes. But as you can see here, the brow looks extremely natural. It looks a lot more defined. It looks fuller. Has a great shape on her. We wanted to keep a medium to low arch on this client. So with the extensions, we were able to do so. Of course, you can create a higher arch if you'd like. You can always do that. You can create a stronger looking tail to the eyebrow if you want. You can truly create whatever brow you like. That's what's so much fun about eyebrow extensions, and your clients will love it. It is truly like the ultimate brow makeover. You can truly give them the brows that they long for, and especially if they're looking for something very, very natural. This is a great alternative for those clients who do not qualify for microblading or permanent makeup, or even for the client that they just want something very, very natural. They just want something for a headshot, or they maybe have a special occasion, getting married, a birthday party, something that may go on, and they just want to look their very best. Brows have an opportunity to really wake up the face, make the face look more youthful, more energetic, and just gives the proper frame to the eyes. So brow extensions is the perfect beauty makeover, and it is an instant makeover. When you are done creating those beautiful eyebrows, it will truly change the customer's appearance. As you can see here, we are really towards wrapping up on this side. The extensions, just going in a little bit more, adding more in there. And again, that's up to you. You can easily do very, very soft eyebrows for people. You could just do, partial brow fill-ins where maybe if, the front of the brow has thinned too much, maybe from over waxing or over tweezing, you can fill in just parts of the brow. You do not have to fill in the entire eyebrow. I think just for a couple seconds. Course, with eyebrow extensions, as we continue to work on our client and you're determining your pricing, you want to consider your time. So with eyebrow extensions, for I would say my most common eyebrow extension service, it is for an hour for eyebrow extensions, and that would be like for a full set. And again, that's just filling in particular places in the brow. So that is where I start at an hour. I do partial eyebrow extensions where if someone only has like maybe one spot or something that they need filled in, and those sessions usually start at about 30 minutes for like a partial, and then a full set is like an hour session. An hour session, I charge $135 for that. For partial eyebrow extensions, those start at $55. And as you can see, I trimmed some of the brow hair here. I'm just going to trim a little more. I want it to look a little straighter at the front of the eyebrow. And again, because the ends of the eyebrow extensions are open, they are not glued to the skin. You can scissor them. You could cut them down, make them a bit shorter if you'd like. And now I'm just making sure that the extensions I have in there are laying really well and just making sure that they are nice and secure. Of course, if there's some that loosen up, you can just reapply more extensions. As we continue to apply the to the tail end of this particular eyebrow, it is imperative that at the end of the service we tell the client how to take care of these beautiful eyebrows. As you can see, step by step, it takes time to build these eyebrows. However, without proper aftercare at home, the client can prematurely loosen the eyebrows, and we want to avoid that at all costs. So it is important to make sure to tell them to keep their eyebrows nice and dry. So that means basically do not, when they're showering, do not put your eyebrows directly into the water. You don't want to do that. You just want to use a cloth or like a makeup wipe to clean around the eyebrows or gently dab the eyebrows, but no scrubbing or rubbing. Again, eyebrow extensions are affixed to the skin and to the client's eyebrow hair. So if we are rubbing too hard, you can loosen the eyebrow extensions, and the client might not be too happy with that. So we want to basically just, set the expectation that if you take proper care of them, keep them dry. Don't rub the eyebrows. Don't put skincare on the eyebrows. No oils, no emollients, none of that. No alcohol or astringents on the eyebrows. Keep them nice and dry. Even making sure when the client is sleeping, don't sleep on your eyebrows. When you're, taking like your shirt off or something like that, make sure you're not rubbing the eyebrows. Just go around the eyebrows. Be as gentle as possible, and they will work well for you. Most clients get anywhere from 10 to 14 days before they need a fill-in or before they completely loosen. It really depends on their skin type. Oilier skin types sometimes the extensions will loosen a bit quicker, and they may stay on that 10-day side or 11-day side before they really start to loosen. Drier skin tends to go a bit longer. Sometimes they can surpass 14 days if they kept their brows really, really dry and are very careful with them. All right, so let's look as we start to wrap up the right eyebrow, just making sure the extensions are nice and full and making sure they're properly secure. Just want to add a few more in. Continue to stretch the skin. That's very important. The reason for stretching the skin is that it basically just opens up the client's eyebrow hair. If you have, of course, sometimes you will have a client that does not have any eyebrow hair. So, of course, you won't have to worry as much about stretching the skin. The stretching part really just helps for, people that have eyebrow hair just to open it up a bit so you can see those little gaps in the eyebrow that need more filling. Taking my scissors here and just trimming them up a bit more. You can also, at this point too, if you see more stray hairs and you need to go back in and maybe tweeze the eyebrow or razor a bit more, you could do that as well. It's okay if you need to go back and touch them up again during the service. That's fine. As you can see here with the straight razor, I'm just going in just a little bit and just cleaning up just a bit those areas where I don't need those hairs and I want the brow to look super sharp. Beautiful. Beautiful. And then here, I am just basically cleaning up the, below the eyebrow as well, just making sure that line is nice and sharp too. Now take a look at the left eyebrow. You can see how far we've come, the progress we've made. And we're going to get ready to work on the left eyebrow. You can really see the difference, how the right eyebrow is darker, it's more defined, it has way more shape. Beautiful. Beautiful. And you can also just see, with this, the client continues to just relax as we move on to the left side. And easily with eyebrow extensions, please start on whatever side you feel the most comfortable. Some people like to start on the left eyebrow, then move over to the right eyebrow. That is perfectly fine. That is not a problem. Whatever is the easiest for the artist and feels the most comfortable, I say go with it. That works perfectly. Now, on the left side, we're going to do the very same thing. We're going to repeat what we did on the first eyebrow. We're now going to take the razor and go ahead and clean up this eyebrow. We're just going to get rid of those stray hairs that we don't need. And just take our time, just be meticulous with this particular process. Of course, the skin has already been cleaned as well to make sure there's no oil or makeup on the skin, because we want to make sure these extensions adhere properly and stay on. So we want to make sure that the skin is clean and nice and dry at this stage. So we're just combing through the eyebrows. And we're going in and we're going to continue to just clean these up. And of course, with eyebrows, they do not grow in a symmetrical pattern. There's always one eyebrow that has its own personality. The saying goes that brows are sisters, not twins. So they are related, but they're very, very different. So during this step, we want to just make sure that we go in and try to balance them as much as possible. You know, just really try to make them look good. If you have the eyebrow where, hey, it grows a little higher than the other, how can I balance that? So you may have to trim one a little bit more than the other. Sometimes you'll have an eyebrow, one grows a little more curved than the other. So you have to make sure that, you know, you balance it as much as you can. On this left eye, this brow basically grows fuller than the other one. So, and it doesn't really have as many places that need a lot of extensions. So with that, we're going to just make sure we eyeball it and keep it nice and clean and balanced. If you are a beginner, I recommend that you use the brow razor that has like a handle on them. They come in like pastel colors, pink, blue, yellow. Just use one that has a handle. Those can make it a lot easier to clean the skin without cutting the client's skin. A lot of times with the straight razor, you have to be very careful to hold the skin nice and taut and make sure you are grazing the skin with the razor, that you're not digging into the skin or any of that could cause cuts and abrasions. So for beginners, I do recommend using the brow razors with the handle. And as you get more comfortable, definitely switch over to the straight razor that I'm using here. The scissors that I'm using are called stork scissors, and I love these scissors. They really get nice and close. You can create a really nice blunt cut on the eyebrows, and they're short, and they are stork scissors. It looks like a little stork on the handle, but I love the finishing that it gives the eyebrow. So here we go. Let's apply these extensions to the left side. So now I am dropping a few drops of the brow adhesive into my ring cup. Perfect. All right, and we're going to use the same steps as we did before. I'm going to continue to use the black and the brown eyebrow extensions using the 7mm here. And like I said, just going to mix it up. I like the way it looks on her skin. It's not too dark. It's not too light. And I'm going to start working at the front of the eyebrows. So I'm going to pick up my black extensions here and just, basically blend and alternate between brown and black, and are just, creating a certain look that I want. And as you can see right in there at the front of the eyebrow, her brows are just a bit light. So I just want to darken them up a little bit. And so right now I am applying the black extensions. I am stretching the skin so that I can glide that extension right into place. And you're basically just laying it right into those thin spots. You can lay it right onto the skin. You can lay it onto the hair of the brow. Just use your tweezer and basically pick up that extension at a 1 o'clock degree angle. Dip it into the adhesive, get that nice little bulb of glue at the end of it, and then lay it right onto the client's eyebrow. Let's keep watching. You can see on this left eyebrow, the client has the tail of the eyebrow is already nice and dark. The brow's a bit fuller on this side, but it's very light at the front of the eyebrow. So we're going to start there. And we're just going to keep building. Picking it up. Picking up the extension at a 1 o'clock degree angle, right off to the side, dipping it into the glue. And I'm going back to the front of that eyebrow. Gosh, the extensions are so small. That's why they look so natural, because they are so thin. They truly mimic eyebrow hair. And in that, you really are able to achieve very beautiful brows. If you have a client and they're looking for a brow solution, in which they just want something very natural. They don't want a really strong, dramatic look. They don't want it where it looks microbladed, then eyebrow extensions truly are the perfect solution. It really is. This is one look that it's natural. It's easy to take care of them. Like I say, you just want to keep them dry, not immerse them in water and oils and things of that sort. But if you have someone that is more conservative, then this is a great option for them. If you have maybe women or men that work in corporate settings, this is another natural brow solution for them, which is perfect. And it just looks great, whether it's professional, casual, special occasion. This is just a look for whatever the event may be. Okay, let's keep building. All right, as I continue to just pick up the extensions, I'm going to continue to just go through where I see light spots in the eyebrow. I'm going to lay the extension in there. Continue to stretch that skin. One other observation that is important to make as you are applying eyebrow extensions when you're looking at your client, I think it's always good to start with the eyebrow that's going to need the most work. So the other eyebrow was a lot thinner, so we started on the right side. That can just be a way to help speed up the process, starting on the one that needs a little more work, so that when you get over to the next eyebrow, it doesn't take as much time, so you can stay within your time frame. Of course, it's important to pay attention to whatever time is allotted for your service. So starting out, you may want to allot a little bit more than an hour for a full set, just to give yourself time. And as you keep practicing and keep applying extensions, you will become more and more efficient with the application, where you should be able to do a full set of eyebrow extensions in 45 minutes to an hour. And that is just going through creating a natural eyebrow. If you have a client that is wanting a super dramatic brow, then you want to base your time and your pricing on how long it will take you to do that. So, for example, if someone says, hey, I really want a very dramatic, I want a full brow, like a Kim Kardashian brow. I want it super full. I want volume. I want the brows to look super thick. That's probably going to take more than an hour. So you want to price your service accordingly for your time, because as you can see, eyebrow extensions are very tedious. You're laying them on one by one. You can put more than one extension on at a time. You could put two on at a time if you want it, and that is perfectly fine. So when you do that, that would be like a 2D. Say you put on two eyebrow extensions at a time, that would be like a 2D brow look. If you were putting on three at a time, that would be a 3D brow look. But the main thing is you just want to make sure that your pricing matches the amount of time and the amount of work that you have to do for the eyebrows. There are people in our area, if it's beyond an hour, hour and a half, that can take up, they can charge easily 175 and up from that point. So it is truly at the discretion of the brow artist. As you can see, gradually but surely the brow's getting a bit darker. We're really starting to fill that in, but it looks super natural. I just want to fill in a little bit more right there in the front where it just seems a little bit light. Okay, I'm going to pick up some of the brown extensions now. And as you can see, there are so many extensions on each strip that these will last you for quite a few services. You can easily, after you're done with the extensions, put them back in the case for proper storage. But a row of extensions, you can get quite a few services, like I said, because some services you're only doing partial extensions. Some you may do a full set, but you should be able to get at least a few months of services out of the extensions that you have. And I just continue to just gently press the extensions into the eyebrow, like with the back of the tweezer, not jabbing the pointed part of the tweezer into the skin. I'm just using kind of the foot or the back of the tweezer just to, gently press the extensions in place to make sure that they are secure. I also use the tweezers as well to just kind of comb through the extensions too, to just make sure that they're nice and soft and they fall right in line with the client's eyebrows. It's very important to make sure they look nice and blended. As you can see with the extensions now, we're applying them in a downward direction. So it's important to follow that pattern. You wouldn't want to stand the extension up, straight up or in the opposite angle. It wouldn't flow naturally. So just follow what the eyebrow does. If it's going downward at the end, go downward. At the front of the eyebrow is going upward, then make sure you're applying the extensions upward. If their eyebrows grow at a slant, apply those extensions at a slant. Follow that natural pattern. The only time you may not have an indication of what pattern to follow is if the person does not have any eyebrows, and that might be someone, like we mentioned before, if they have alopecia or something like that, where they have no eyebrow hair, then what you'll have to do is best determine what will look the most natural on them. And for most people, at the front of the eyebrow, you're going to want those extensions to go straight up. And then, as we've talked about, going through the arch down to the tail, you are going to basically start to lean those extensions over, leaning all the way downward to the tail of the eyebrow. We're going to continue to add. Continue to just dip in the glue, find your spot, stretch that skin, lay it right into place. Now I'm going back to the black extensions. And we're going to keep building. And then we will also go back in and check and just see if we need to do any more razoring or scissoring just to get those eyebrows just right. Okay, I'm just making sure they're secure. Okay, I'm going to go in and work on this bottom outline just a little bit. Beautiful. And it's okay as well to take your mascara wand and just, gently brush or if you have an eyebrow brush, and just brush those eyebrows into place. So you make sure to, achieve that look that you want and that everything is flowing naturally together. Got some black extensions here. We're going to add in a few more. Gosh, beautiful. They're just coming together so nicely. And again, for someone who doesn't know, they're just going to think these are your eyebrows. Again, as we mentioned before, we're keeping the arch a medium arch here. But if the person wanted their eyes, a bit more open or a stronger look, of course, you could make a higher arch. You could basically keep the arch a little thinner in that particular area just to open the eyes more. But we just wanted to keep a natural full look here. I'm gonna go back to the brown brow extension here and put a few more in the front. Just continue to build up that particular section. You can see the brown here. Just picking that up at a 1 o'clock degree angle, dipping it into the glue. Just continuing to build this front part of the eyebrow. You may have a client for the beginning of the eyebrow. Some people really like that faded look where it's really, really light. So you can always use a lighter extension in the front of the eyebrow and move into a darker extension as you move through the arch in the tail end of the eyebrow. So again, there's so many different ways you can do these eyebrows in terms of colors, lengths, all of that. I do say the rule of thumb is with the length is to try to match it to the length of their natural eyebrow. That
Hope that was great information just to be able to go and listen to or watch the steps for the eyebrow extension service. So just to be able to watch it from start to finish, what's involved. And I am definitely, for me, I am definitely a visual learner. So to be able to, of course, read the steps, the procedures from the training manual, and then to be able to just watch it all together, just in a comprehensive manner, that just helps to cement the techniques or the steps involved so that I'm clear on what that looks like. And I'm also able to articulate to the customer what to expect. So with that, this just gives you a great time of study and understanding eyebrow extensions. It is truly a service that is continues to be popular, and is even being reintroduced to new groups of people that maybe they don't qualify for microblading, or maybe they don't want microblading. Eyebrow extensions gives them a way to make their brows look even better. Of course, it does not last long as microblading. We're looking at 10 to 14 days, maybe longer if you have drier skin, but it gives you the perfect brow solution, definitely if you're taking photos or you've got special occasions. So with this time that we've had together today, I hope you have a better understanding of eyebrow extensions. And if you're interested in taking an actual, a longer course where we can go into more detail and can practice together, then we also have those classes available. Feel free to go to our website at www.5dbeautyacademy.com, or reach us at 678-820-9621. We will be happy to assist you. We will have additional training courses coming out, so please feel free to come back to our website, come to our Instagram page as well, and just to get information about other courses. So it is truly a privilege and it's an honor that you chose our training today. I hope it has enlightened you in some way. Please refer your peers, refer other folks that would like to get good training and a better understanding of different techniques, which again, with practice, with just becoming more and more knowledgeable and mastering these skills, will translate into additional streams of income and being able to make sure we exceed the expectations of our customers. So again, thank you for your time today. Thank you for studying with us the art of eyebrow extensions. Thank you so much and be beautiful.